Ah, dear. Hello, everybody. How are we all doing? I'm imagining not great, considering the everything. As I mentioned in the video I did this morning, I was initially going to do something on like how we really weren't good enough against Borough, and that was genuinely abysmal, and we have to do better, and we have to push forwards. But on the bright side, we had a few players that, when they came on, looked like they were able to create stuff and make things happen. How did that go? How did having those players go? Oh, Jesus. So, basically, again, I've not got anything hugely prepared for this video. This is day, I don't quite know, 5, 6, 7, somewhere along that area. Oh, good, Daniel Farker's got a press conference at 2:30. Do we want to discuss that? Do we want to dive into all of that? Basically, this is going to be one really big questions corner. I think this is going to be one big chat where we just get all of our frustrations out, get all of our furies out, because oh god, it's... I've already had to make it daily streams until we lose in the league. And then look what we've done. The club decided to make it so it was absolutely impossible for us to do much. Jesus. I feel fuck having to do a press conference. Absolutely, yeah. There's nothing he could have done on this one. This is just a case of, wow, things have gone really bad really fast, haven't they? And I don't quite know where I'm sitting on it. We need too many signings now with almost no time left. We haven't got a left back or an 8 that we need. We've still not brought in a winger since Somerville left, and it's been 25 days since the last signing. Yeah. Basically, the way that I'm approaching it at this point is... How am I approaching it at this point? I don't quite know. Because when it comes to it, right, we badly need players like now, as soon as we can. And it is not going to do for us to keep on waiting. Because now, between just Rutter and Gray and Somerville, we're at £114 million. At least a little bit, sure, might have gone to Hoffenheim. But that's not much compared to the scale of the madness. Nothing prepared to work for the 49ers. I mean, if the 49ers have some of that 114 million quid they want to chuck my way, I'll happily say whatever. £1 million and you can buy my soul, but I don't know. I'm normally against catastrophizing, but birds should refuse to sing, flowers should refuse to bloom, and the sun should refuse to shine. Yeah, what I did this morning was I went to the doctor's appointment that I've had to do for a very long time. Basically, I had a little bit of a niggle down, like, lower half area. There was a little bit of a suspicion that it might be a hernia, but I put it off until after the walk. And I was like, oh, good. So not only did we get dicked last night by Middlesbrough, but we'll add something else onto that. We got dicked by Middlesbrough, and then Rutter's clause got triggered. Not only that, we got dicked by Middlesbrough, Rutter's clause got triggered, and then I've got a doctor's appointment in the morning, and then it was pissing it down, and I had to walk for 15 minutes to get to the doctor's. It's been about 18 hours or so, I would probably say. I wonder if Farkas sacked. No, not at this point. There is the point of there is genuinely a shout for a resignation, because God, he's had the rug pulled out from underneath him badly. Remember when it felt like we were being a proper football club for once? And it felt good for a while. And then it was now, and things do not feel very good at the moment. This is another worry as well. Yeah, this is why you need to move on signing other players before your players get signed, because everyone knows that Leeds are sitting on piles of cash at this point. Everyone knows of it. Like, we've not been subtle about that fact. We've just made it more expensive for ourselves. Worst possible news at the worst time. Yeah. It's the best way of putting it. It was really not a time for us to lose a player, and then we lost a player, and it wasn't very good. This will be paid in installments. I don't think it will. I have a feeling that that won't be the case. I'm not entirely certain, though. Club will address the fans after the window and watch them come out and say we tried. I believe, based on what happened last year at the very least, it'll be a case of the square ball will have a natter with Mr. Kinnear, and they will not be kind, I feel. They will be a little bit vicious, and it's deserved. Club have a hell of a fortnight to come through and give us a decent squad for the season. Yeah, we're at the point where, given absolutely everything, I feel like we need to make a move every day or every 2 days, I think. And that's to not have to do something on deadline day, which we will. We can't escape that fact. Can't think of anyone to replace what Rutter gave us for a reasonable cost, plus we haven't secured top targets. Also this is also bad. I think on the replacing Rutter thing, I've had a couple of little thoughts on it, and the best that comes to mind for me is the phrasing that is used in Moneyball, the film, where you're not looking to replace him as an individual, you're looking to replace him in the aggregate. So effectively, you're looking to not get one player that does what he does, but you will get a player that does the dribbling stuff, a player that does the chance creation stuff, and hopefully, over time, that will add up to having the equivalent of another Jorginho Rutter. Will that happen? I don't know. I want it to happen. I'm not super optimistic, I can't lie. But that's what we have to do now. We don't have a choice. We have to make that happen. Oh, we are in deep, deep shit. Deep shit. Maybe get the maximum amount of loan signings in. This would help as well, but then at the same time, if we do that and we get promoted, then what happens next season? Next season, we have to do the same thing again. We've got to do so much player signing. So much. Will it work? I don't know. We'll find out. Sorted out a messy inherited only to find there was still a shit in the cupboard. Yeah, that's roughly where I'm sitting on it, to be honest with you. New YEP article will see Brighton boss responds to Rutter question amid £40 million Leeds United exit links. Yeah, this is just where we're going to get to the PR talk stage, isn't it? Like, Farker might pull the, well, we can't really have a conversation around that, even though the club has now officially said that that clause has been activated, because they said exactly that to the LUFC Trust. They were honest with them and went, yeah, that's happened. I'd rather it didn't happen. I'd quite like it to have not happened. Oh, Oh, still stinking Elland Road out. This is part of the issue, I think, because whilst a lot of people were saying there was a chance to redo his contract, that's fine in theory. Sure. Theoretically, could have done it. But look over the past year, and if you are in Jorginho Rutter's shoes, is there any moment in which you think to yourself, you know what I want to do? I would like a new contract that doesn't let me leave the club if we don't go up. Because at that point, you're certain of going up, and the club will be saying, yeah, we're sure of going up. So Rutter is perfectly valid to say, all right, put your money where your mouth is. Let's not renew the contract. If we don't go up, then that clause might get triggered. Fine. The number of contracts with those release clauses in is nasty and has screwed us over again. And I'm just going to very quickly have to say it's going to do the running an ad thing. Click on it, and you will immediately be left if you go back afterwards. Sorry. That should get rid of it. But it's a nightmare. The entire thing. I think the best signing we could get is maybe Morgan Whittaker from Plymouth. People thinking about Hamer or Schmodix, it's unrealistic. I don't know if it is. I think Blackburn at least put like a time limit on the sale of Schmodix, which fair enough, fine. Oh, not today. No, please, no. Whittaker, I do think would be a very, very good signing, without a doubt. Hamer is unrealistic. I don't see Sheffield United selling to us right now. But we also need someone to create the chances, and Schmodix doesn't create the chances. Schmodix is on the end of them. Which, fine, fair enough. Sure. You do what you do. Some footballers are good at some things, some are good at others. Whittaker is another one who's better at finishing chances. Hamer, yes, he's on the creative side, but again, we're not going to sign him because Sheffield United are going to go, wow, you're falling apart, and just not sell to us because they don't have to. Clubs will be literally looking for players that inflate the prices. Yeah, there's another problem that we'll bump into. The prices will not be friendly to us. They will continue to go up and up and up and up and up. And it will do so towards the end of the window because clubs will also know that, well, Leeds need to get promoted. And to get promoted, we need decent players. And if you are going to be selling a decent player, then you can force that. The everyone knowing we have money is going to be a problem for us. Pretty big problem for us. Annoying, basically. And it all comes back to that thing that Daniel Farke said a couple of weeks ago, where he was talking about the sins of the past, where he was saying that Leeds United, when it comes to selling players and not being able to spend all of the money because we were still dealing with the installments and stuff from the Orta era, it goes back to that. Because these contracts were signed then, and they still have those release clauses. And I don't know what smooth brain Orta managed to pluck one singular cell from to find the number £40 million on a £35 million player. But why did he think that was reasonable? Why did he think, yeah, 5 million quid of profit if we're including add-ons will probably do us? No, it won't. Because in that situation, we've gotten relegated. Oh, Christ. I don't even know. I don't know what the route is here. Sorensen will now start in the 10. But I don't, will he? Because, I mean, there's another conversation to be had. You might have seen the thumbnail for this video. It had 3 players on it that you can see. It had Somerville, 34 million, Gray, 40, Rutter, 40, and the final one is, spoiler alert, a greyed out version of Willie Gnonto. Because if you're Willie right now, you're looking at this side and you're going, right, sorry, Georgie created all the chances for me to score. Cree was my best friend at the club, and Gray was such a talent that was continuously developing and looking like he could have become one of the best players in the division. And now it's me. With, yeah, Brendan Aaronson's on the inside, Dan James on the other flank. Is Willie Gnonto going to want to stay? I don't think so. I think we're going to get stories flying all over the shop around Gnonto probably pushing for a move, and I do not blame him. There is one good thing on Gnonto. He's not got a release clause. And we know this because it would have been triggered last season. When we signed him for £4 million, and no one knew how much he developed, so we didn't know what sort of level to put a release clause at. I've heard not a single word about Willie Gnonto having a release clause. So that helps. But when you've seen that your workplace has made everyone around you go somewhere else, is your response to that realistically going to be, no, I'm happy with this? No, because I can see Gnonto feasibly doing what he did last season all over again. So I don't know if Aronson will be in the 10, because I think we might need him on a wing. To be completely honest with you. And on this, on the Gnonto's leaving, I don't care, get rid yesterday. Let's not be stupid. Let's actually look at things as they are. Last season, Gnonto, when he played, was really fucking good for us. Incredible footballer. Is Championship Leeds United realistically in the place to take it down? Also, I'm going to have to pick up for a moment because I hear the dog losing his mind on the technical difficulty screen and deal with it. 1 second. Back in a sec. Right, I am back. The sister-in-law needed to pick something up, which is fine. Let's have a look through. We'll be fearful I'll get not FIFA sale. What? Don't know what we're talking about. Remember, Rafinha had a 25 million if he went down. Yeah, it screams auto-style trademark to me. That was his way of persuading players. No, you can come to Leeds because if things go wrong, you can always leave Leeds again. And you know what? I will open the door for you. Out we go. It's meant stupid. God. On this, I saw a genuinely very good point that someone made, and I don't think it's waiting until the last minute to buy cheap. I think a significant part of it is waiting until all of the clauses have expired to know what we actually need. Because it's fine to replace, like, a Gray, but If you then lose Gray and Rutter is someone that can also play midfield. Now you've got an even more desperate need for a midfielder. I think it was waiting to see just how bad the damage was and then build quickly at the end. And that is so stupid. It's left us so exposed that like I was really sort of looking forward to my whole like daily stream until we lose in the league. I thought that was a really fun idea because I thought we'd be looking quite good throughout the season. It'd be a little bit challenging because like I've got a work event down in London on Sunday, but you know what? I don't think I'll have to stream then now, which is fantastic. Thank you, Tanya. I'm desperately trying to keep some level of optimism. Leeds have more of a hold on Nonto as he doesn't have a clause activation in his contract. Could make life difficult to push for a move unless Fire could persuade him to stay. He's not going to be persuadable. It is not going to be an easy one to do. If he is able to persuade him, then I think we have to accept that Daniel Farker is one of the better negotiators that you will have seen. Because persuading Nonto to stick around after that would have to be nuts. 1 second. The end of the stream. Cool. Just adding a banner to go on the bottom. Basically, Daniel Farker's doing a presser in 36 minutes' time. That could be fascinating. So I'm going to stick around streaming until that happens. And then we are going to redirect over to there. And yeah, we're gonna show up and we're gonna be like, "Hi lads, what's going on here? Where's our good footballer gone? Why isn't he here anymore? I quite like him. Where's our Georgie?" God, I like having good players at the club. It's quite nice. And there was a little bit of me last season that thought maybe things are going to be all right. Because maybe we can keep a couple of the good players. We'll lose one or two. But outside of that, it'll be fine. It's not fine. It's not really fine in the slightest, to be completely honest with you. Also, I'm going to do a sneaky little redirect, actually, because it turns out I can't redirect to Leeds United's streams. I wonder why. I wonder if they're worried that people might get a little bit annoyed. Announcing his resignation. I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't blame him in the slightest. The teams that went up last season to the Premier League didn't have a Somerville, Rutter, or Nonto in their ranks. They had a more solid team, like the BL's team that got promotion. There is no Iron team. Definitely did. They definitely had very good individuals. Leif Davis for Ipswich was absolutely huge. Dewsbury Hall was massive for Leicester. It is complete erasure to say that that isn't something that we've, like, to say that that was a problem for us is nuts. So James and Nonto are only good forwards now. We got Joseph. Sometimes Peru has a good game. I'm going to keep backing Pat. He didn't have a good night last night, but that's fine. Could Farker leave of his own accord, as he stated he didn't want to see anyone else leaving after Somerville went? He could, yeah. I think he'd be well within his rights to. Completely get it. Need patterns and a plan that expounds on the brilliance of talent. We like the first one a bit, yeah. Don't know. I think it was just sort of the worst double punch of result into news that you could have possibly gotten. It wasn't good at all. More worried about the defence conceding 6 goals in 2 versus a League One promoted team and a Borough team who will be fighting for top 6. Yeah, for me, the worrying one of those was Borough. Because Borough proved that when Sam Byram is on the pitch, we do not look very good going forward, so we lose the benefit of having Bogle at right back. And then left back, when Firpo isn't on the pitch, who have we got? Because Pascal Struijk's not a left back. Let's stop having this discussion that Struijk might be a left back. Nope, not even a little bit. We saw this. It didn't look good. It was not pretty in the slightest. Portsmouth match was chaos. Fully agree to that. You're not wrong. The Portsmouth match was a case of first goal, Bogle is out of position, dangerously silly. Second goal, absolute screamer, to be fair, but Rodon could have done better as well. First one also, Melier too, I know. Third one was a penalty, shit happens. And at that point, my thinking was, is it individual errors that's the problem? Is it just issues with individuals making big mistakes, and that is why we're struggling? But then yesterday showed that, no, systemically we're not great either. The system, also a little bit iffy. It's no good. It is no good. And worst of all, I've seen people saying that 40 million for Rutter is a good deal for us. It's no. No, I'm sorry. What are we talking about? What are we talking about here? That isn't true. You know that isn't true. Because the way that I've looked at it, and I'm going to do a very quick screen share thing. I'm going to get out the old reliable whiteboard, because I quite like using the whiteboard, because it makes me feel like I have some semblance of control over my life. Let's go with a black pen, shall we? Because that's the mood right now. Share screen, untitled design, bosh, cool. Right, brilliant. What I was saying yesterday, in fact, this one, share this tab instead, that was basically a matter of your chances of getting promoted will drastically go down if you have issues with injuries. Which means that if you make signings, you've got a better chance of going up, which means that it's ultimately more valuable for you. So let's do a little bit of maths, shall we? One season in the Premier League earns you about 100 and a bit million in your, what's it, fucking words? Earned you 100 million in TV revenue immediately. You also get a prize pool that is at least, I think, 60. So we'll call it, if I can remember to go back to the draw tab, we'll call it 160 million pounds. Yes. Now, before this, I initially thought, okay, cool. We weren't great against, well, attacking, we were great against Portsmouth, but defensively, not ideal against Portsmouth. So I thought beforehand our chance was roughly of promotion 90%. Why not? Let's be optimistic. Now, what we seem to have done is we have gone, what if we take away a very, very good footballer, because release clauses apparently are things that we just have to deal with. Now, shit, I have no idea. What do we go with? I'll be kind. I'll say I think we've got a 40% chance of going up. That's very kind. Realistically, we're talking 25-ish. So the gap here is 50%, yeah? I would argue that Jorginho Rutter is worth that 50% chance on his own of getting promoted. So we'll go 160 million pounds, multiply it by 50%. and that is £80 million. So whilst we might have gotten that £40 million in, fantastic, brilliant, there's still a hell of a lot of value that we are losing by selling Rutter. And I can't. Yeah, random stuff. I know that's really optimistic, but it's all we've got at the moment. That's it. And I think the sheer gap in like what we could earn if we were able to retain him, in comparison to the fact that nice, we've got £40 million in. We got to do a lot of fucking recruitment. Got to do so much recruitment. What do we need? Let's talk through what we need. Yesterday showed us that we need a left back, because Firpo's backup was Pascal Struijk, who was caught wildly out of position for that first goal. Was it the first goal? I don't know. But he was out of position because clearly he thought a little bit, let's be a centre back, shall we? Which is his position. I don't blame him for that. That's completely normal. So we need a left back because we've got one. And in theory, yeah, there's Woba. But is there a presser today? Yes, in 26 minutes. Look at the banner. Although I can't redirect to it, I will put links in the chat for you, so everyone can go over there. On the subject of linking stuff in the chat, there was a couple of things I was going to link in the chat. I'm going to try and do what I can to turn how fucking grim and dire this feels at the moment into something a little bit more reasonable and manageable. Unless I've lost all of my fucking notes on my notepad, I'm going to have a meltdown. Where's the... Okay. That's good. It's a bad day. It's been a very bad day right now. So basically, all of the links and stuff that I had saved for streams and things, they've disappeared from my PC. So that's nice. Things just get better and better, don't they? So I was going to try and be a bit wholesome. I noticed that Evie was in the chat. I have set myself the personal challenge of trying to get Evie to as many subscribers as possible before she puts out a video. So Evie's channel, I've just popped in the chat. Go over there and subscribe, and then come back again, obviously. But that might be quite nice. Yeah, if everyone in this chat right now subscribed, we'd like double it. It's great. But I think it would be funny to hit 500 before Evie puts out a video. Outside of that, I know that everyone is going to be really, really mad. But let's keep in mind that the source of this issue is not the person that I am quite close friends with and everyone should be kind to, because everyone is genuinely sort of horrific when it comes to having various people on channels. I'm also going to link to Crystal's YouTube. Warning, she's a 49ers fan, but she's not exactly part of the club leadership, is she? She is... Throughout the season, the idea was to do a podcast series where she's slowly becoming a Leeds fan, and I think that might slowly turn her into not being a 49ers fan anymore, given what is going on right now. So if you could pop over and subscribe there, that would also be massively appreciated. It's just a nice thing to do. Let's boost each other up when it comes to this, because, hell, club's not going to do it. So let's make people smile by trying to be roughly positive. And also, if you've not yet, please pop a like on the stream. That helps to push it out a little bit. It's always massively appreciated. Thank you. Oh. Yeah. This is the big concern that I've got at the minute. The bit about the club being potentially held to ransom when we're looking to sign players. because everyone knows that we are rolling in cash. Add 'em up. Somerville, up to 34. Gray, 40, 74. Rutter, 40, 114. Cresswell, 4, 118. Kamara, 8, £126 million. Have I missed anyone? Or otherwise, was it just sort of freeze and stuff? That might have been the case. I'm not 100% certain. Not sure. I don't even know. But everyone knows that we have 120 odd million pounds. And if we're looking to sign their players, my God, it's going to be easy for them to say, no. We know you've got more. Do you really think Norwich's price tag is potentially going to dip down to £10 million now? Do you think John Rowe is going to want to come? Now we've seen that all the players that would be creating chances for him aren't here anymore. Or is he going to look at the club and go, oh, that's a bit not good? And we're stuck in this cycle of, we've got a few decent players, they have a decent season, and we've sold them. That's a problem. Oh yeah, Rocker and Llorente. I forgot about those. Let's add another 7 million for that. So it was over 130. Right, on this, that's not how it works. It's not. Yes, it is for PSR, but it's not a case of Leeds get £40 million and then suddenly somehow the FA can tell them exactly how they're going to spend that money. That's not the way around that goes. And in terms of transfer debt, like, we've already cleared it. On this summer alone, if that was the case, we had, what, 70 million last year. And then I think it was a total of 120 or something like that, which means that having cleared the 70, well, that included Gray. Yeah, okay, brilliant. We're without transfer debt. Well done, us. Fantastic. 10 out of 10. Good job. Not really got a side to go forwards. And I'm just going to address something that a lot of people have said, that is I think it's the asset stripping argument. The argument that, well, the 49ers have just come in, they've sold everyone so they can bank that money and they'll sell Leeds on and they'll make a profit. And that's venture capitalism. No, it's fucking not. The way that the 49ers enterprises works is completely different to that. And I'm going to do the fun little whiteboard thing again as a little bit of a demonstration of it. And I know that sometimes I lose viewers when I do the whiteboard, but the whiteboard makes me happy. So, right. This pie is Leeds. Well, was Leeds at the start of the season. However, someone ate Archie. Pie's smaller. Someone ate Somerville. Pie's smaller. Someone ate Georgie. The pie's even smaller. Not only that, but the pie is currently down in the championship. It makes more sense for the 49ers, rather than eating half of a pie and having that much, to put a little bit of money into Leeds, have the pie grow and grow, because if it's a Premier League club, it's worth so much more money. Keep in mind how much Radrizzani paid for the club. It wasn't a lot of money. I'm going to Google that, actually. Radrizzani buys Leeds cost. The Italian Radrizzani bought Leeds outright for £45 million in 2017. So this pie down here, this version of the pie, is worth about 45 million quid. And then we'll say it short, we'll be kind. Let's add the 126 made in transfer fees. And let's call that 171 in total. Do you really think a Premier League club is worth less than £171 million? It's not an asset strip, it's incompetence. Because this pie right here, Leeds valuation Premier League. Let's have a look. Oh, piss off, YEP. I'm not going to sign up for your website. Okay, so they completed the takeover itself for £170 million, to be clear. So at the moment, if they do all of this, well done, you've made £1 million of profit. Consider the number of stakeholders, that's not worth the time. Because an asset strip doesn't make sense either from a financial perspective or a footballing perspective or a moral perspective. Doesn't add up. Realistically, and having a look at this, for example, Fulham have a value of $790 million. So let's do $790 in pounds. 617. Because we can be worth as much as Fulham. And then compare that to this. Compare these numbers. Because this one, that's a £400 million plus profit. You don't get that by deliberately, actively fucking the club. And that's because it's not a deliberate choice. Also this, I'm a big fan of Hannah being an accountant and occasionally popping in and being like, stop it, use the right words. Genuinely, I love that. It's fantastic. But I just... There's a little bit of me that considers using, like, the countdown clock in the background, but what's your point? My point on this one is it's not an asset strip because that means nothing. Because the 49ers, at the end of the day, are there to make a profit. Well, the structure itself is there to make a profit. You've got the likes of a Larry Nance who just wants to be involved in football ownership. But the 49ers are looking to do profit. This is a fucking joke. Leeds United right now are not valued at £800 million. You know that. You are fully aware of that. Or at the very least, you should be. Because if you're not, I'm deeply concerned. Because that's not the worth of the club. Parachute payments, not much. Significantly lower this season. A lot lower next season. Okay, and why would Red Bull sell for £300 million? Why would Red Bull buy the club for £300 million after they've just seen their co-owners selling off the good stuff? Red Bull don't want to lose vast amounts of money either. You do see that, right? Like, I think am I right in thinking that, like, Red Bull Racing finances? I'm 99% sure that Red Bull Racing, their Formula One team, is making a profit. Look at Forbes. No, let's not, shall we? If you genuinely think that our club right now is worth the same as Fulham, looking at our respective squads, our respective leagues, and our respective stadia, admittedly, we've got a big stadium. It still needs doing up, though. You're losing it. Right. I have Googled Leeds United value Forbes. Absolute horseshit, especially considering it was calculated in May 2022 when we were still potentially in the Premier League. It ain't true. I'm sorry, if you're seeing the club selling our most creative playmaker, and your response to that is to call him shit, I don't know what to tell you. We've also sold our top goal scorer, and we've also sold our best youngster for a long time. I don't quite see how backroom release clause stuff is Daniel Farke's fault, but if we want to find a nice, cozy person that we can say, it's on you to feel good about ourselves, you go and do that. But it's not sensible, and it's not actually correct. Problem is you can't run a club and make a profit in the longer run. You've got a point, but the approach on that one, at least from Radrazani, for example, was, okay, short term, we make a loss. Short term, I've bought a club for £45 million. I've pumped a lot of cash into this club. And you sell in the Premier League because that's where the increase in value is. And for the 49ers, they bought at 170 million. If they were to buy in the Premier League, they would have had to buy for a hell of a lot more. So their goal is get to the Premier League, and then you can do the sale of the club. Because that's how you make the profit if you are coming in. On this, May 2022. 2022, a lot happens in that time, including the sale of a lot of very, very good footballers. A lot. Lots. This is one player who would have bitten the hands off for £40 million this time last year, potentially moving because of relegation clause. At the 49ers' hands for a Champions club, these players are too good. But we're allowed to feel pissed off about that. We're allowed to feel pissed off that in every single good footballer that we have, there is a mechanism for them to just go, okay, I'm leaving now. That in itself is the problem. The fact that we've just sort of like, it's like I mentioned earlier, it's not even like opening the door for them, it's putting in an automatic door. It's saying, okay, well, it might be a little bit tough for you to pull the door open. You might have to talk to an agent, and your agent might have to talk to people. Why don't we just sort of like have it slide open for you? No players bigger than the team will survive. There's no mega slump when he was off form or injured. Take a breath of futures, Rosie. Counterpoint. Attacking, we look fairly decent against Portsmouth on Saturday. How were we attacking yesterday when Rutter wasn't on the pitch? Dog shit. Awful. We didn't create one XG. One. We didn't. Nope. Nothing. And then you combine that with the fact that, admittedly, if he was off form or injured, maybe we could get a result. But at the same time, was Somerville injured? No. Was Gray injured? No. Did we have Kamara in the side? Probably. It's not looking good. It's not smelling great. At all. Farke's tactics are the problem. Explain to me the purpose of Amps doing what he does during the game. Explain why the midfield is empty. I don't know. That's not the topic of this conversation. It's... The topic of the conversation has changed. Joe, it says 15-15 Farke's conference. Are you sure that isn't Joe's reaction to it? Because the stream itself is at 2:30 on the Leeds United YouTube channel, which I'm going to pop in the chat in a few minutes. Did the 49ers put the clause in? I don't think so. Hang on, I'm trying to think through contracts now. No for Rutter, no for Somerville. Yeah, because it turns out that West Ham knew about that clause when we went down, and we persuaded Somerville to give us a season. Gray, I'm not certain on, but Georgie definitely only had one contract, which was the one signed under Rutter. But whilst that is Rutter's fault, the inability to replace people comes down to the 49ers right now. And that's the reason that we've got 15 days to make all the changes that we need to, which is a lot of changes. It's a lot of changes. Right. What was I searching? Archie Gray Leeds contract. He signed that contract in January of 2024. So that one is on the 49ers. Then again, he only had 2 years left on it, so if Archie was pushing, it's tough. But it is on the 49ers for that one. 49ers set with Rutter. As far as I was aware, that was literally just financing stuff. How long would you give Farker? I don't know. I'll be honest. My brain isn't in the place of how long until we can make someone unemployed. My brain is currently in the place of how the hell do we have a squad that looks good enough to play next season? Not even next season. This season. On fucking Saturday. In 2 days. How are we going to have a side that works and makes sense and does the job? I don't know. But also, if you haven't yet, I'd appreciate popping a like on the stream because I'm very close to 100, and I don't think I've ever gotten 100 likes on a stream as I've been streaming and done a short stream. So that'd be appreciated. It's one click. It's very easy to do. It'd be very, very kind of you. If you're looking at top 6 this season, also I'll give him until the international break. I have little to no faith in him. I think for me, it depends a bit on how things happen. Because there is a very, very valid shout that if we're not doing very well at the international break, then things need to be different. But it's a question of, is it going to be a case of individual issues that cause that, or is it going to be a case of structural issues? Because if it's structural, absolutely, I agree. But looking at it from a slightly different perspective, looking at it from the point of view of like pure like fairness in a job. If you're doing your job and it's a standard office job and you need to complete a few spreadsheets every few minutes, and then partway through the day before you get started, someone just like cuts the wire on your mouse and goes, no, you can't use that anymore. I'm sure you can learn the keyboard commands, right? And then someone cuts the wire on your microphone, so you can't talk to any of your customers anymore. You can't make any sales. And then someone cuts the wire on your headphones, so you can't hear them either. At that point, you're probably thinking, might not be the employee's fault. Because, yeah, he's got some stuff left, but it's stuff that he's had to yank out of the back room. It's the old janky mouse that still uses one of those balls. It's a microphone that was from the origins of time when radio had barely begun to exist. Because the issue that we were saying before this weekend was, got a good first 11. The depth is better than it was last season, but I'm not sure on it. And now that first 11 has got to become the depth, which is bad. It's not good. Thank you very much, by the way, Football Guru, for the gift of memberships. It's massively appreciated. Not the same. Joe Farker made a point of being a manager, not the coach. That effectively means that he has a say on incomings and he can persuade players on outgoings. When it's a matter of release clauses, you can't touch that at all. When it comes to a release clause, if someone offers that amount of money, then the player can basically just say, okay, bye then. You can be the manager and still get completely fucked by the people above you or the previous version of the people above you. And I am willing to bet a vast sum of money that in this press conference, he's not going to be a happy boy. I wouldn't be a happy boy. I would be fuming. I would be livid. It's like I saw earlier on where people were like, genuinely, I could potentially see him resigning. I'd understand it. I'd completely get it. And odds are he is going to go out there and say it's not ideal to lose Georgie, but XYZ. That's because he can't go into a press conference and say the words, "This is fucking dreadful." That doesn't work. That doesn't work in the slightest because that is immediate sacking territory. And yeah, it puts pressure on the 49ers or whatever. But then we're in the same position again and we're stuck having to sign a Lampard or something like that. Because would you see someone like a Graham Potter looking at our club right now and going, yeah, actually, this is the project that I want? No, not even a little bit. Like people have suggested David Moyes. David Moyes hasn't been like super effective for a while. West Ham have relied on individual brilliance quite a bit in recent seasons. Do we really want to say that like the amount of people that are like, well, you see, I like Farker, but he's a bit reliant on the individual brilliance. So you want to replace him with Moyes? Okay. Thank you very much, by the way, Gregor. I want Farker to throw them under the bus and I want because it's breach of contract. I want dummies flying everywhere. Absolutely. But no matter what he says, everyone's going to say it's the wrong answer. It's only dreadful if we don't replace our three key players with somewhat near equivalent. I think we need 4 or 5. At this stage, we need 4 or 5 players. At least 2 to replace the output of Rutter. Moyes won a European Cup. He did, and fair play to him. But I don't know if he's built for the Championship. I don't know if he's right for this trouble. Basically, quite like more footballers, and I'd quite like them very soon. And if we don't see any movement by Saturday, we're in trouble. But at the end of the day, let's do the thing again. Hope you enjoyed the stream. If you did, pop a like on it, subscribe, all that fun stuff. You could even become a channel member if you want. It's 99p a month. Some of you have become channel members thanks to Guru, which is great. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, become a channel member, all that stuff. I'm going to post a link to the press conference down below so everyone can hop over there. Say hi from Joe B or something. If we're going over there, that'd be appreciated. Either way, hope you enjoyed. I'll see you later. Ta-ra. Bloody stupid game. Football.